We are here on earth to work long, hard, arduous hours, to work until our backs ache and our tired muscles knot, to work all our days. This mortal probation is one in which we are to eat our bread in the sweat of our faces until we return to the dust from whence we came.
Travis Wingood, so in order to build Zion, the great and abominable church has to fall, and we have to have an exodus, and there have to be those who want to build Zion rather than live in denial. When I was a kid, my mom, I guess it was during the Reagan era, and I was complaining about the economy. Maybe my mom wasn't wanting to buy me something and told me to get a job to pay for it myself. And then I complained about how the economy won't allow me to make enough money. And so she responded with, "This is the best economy that we can come up with." And she was real pissed. I triggered her. And even though she's a hardcore Mormon, she didn't think about the law of consecration at the time. I hadn't gone through the temple. I had no idea what the law of consecration was yet. And so what kind of economy would we have in Zion? And I'm debating whether to put in the Bruce R. McConkie clip, because he clearly thinks that every one of us, at least men, women have to stay home barefoot, pregnant in the kitchen, right? That we're supposed to do hard labor. That's the white supremacist interpretation of Genesis regarding the fall. Adam gets cursed to be in slave labor, and the women are cursed to be pregnant. And it's horrific to hear a leader of a religion get up and demand hard labor from the followers. But it's even worse when that religious leader is not even doing what King Benjamin did. He worked with the people, so that he wasn't just a king mooching off the labor of the people. And so many Mormons over the course of my decades have all tried to come up with an economy for Zion, or to go into greater detail on how the law of consecration is supposed to work, or fix the problems with the United Order of Brigham Young. And because of my mom and her comment not sitting well with me, she told me that I had to wait until I was an adult to learn what the Egyptian papyrus said. That didn't sit well with me either, and look at me today. So yes, for the economy of Zion, I know exactly how to do it. It's right here in the Book of Mormon. 2 Nephi chapter 26, verse 31. But the laborer in Zion shall labor for Zion, for if they labor for money, they shall perish. And so it's not about an exchange of goods to receive what you need. It's not an exchange of money from labor for what you need. That's all a monetary system of economy. And it says we can't have a monetary system of economy, not even barter and trade. So how do we do it? Oh no, socialism, no! Socialism is forced labor. Communism is forced labor with a Republican governing body over the socialist subjects. Forced labor. This is not talking about forced labor. And if you don't understand that, you've been suckered by the church into their definition of Zion. For the building up of the kingdom of God on the earth and for the establishment of Zion. And so we, as Mormons, we live in the world, we work in the world to make some CEO and board of directors filthy rich, and then we have to then give an additional 10% to the church and kingdom of God through tithing, so that the church is prosperous, and therefore we now know the church is good because it prospers financially. That definition is horrific, because this is also a part of my Sociology of Mormonism video I did the other day, as to why Mormons are fleeing the church. South of the border, specifically, for this reason. You know, we've got the church coming in with missionaries in suits and ties, and they're talking about Jesus, and the message that's portrayed to the people is that, wow, I joined the church and I can become prosperous, no longer poor. And the church will help me because they have bishop storehouses, perpetual education fund. Self-reliance. The church demands that we be independently prosperous in order to be righteous, and that we cannot be righteous on our own through our own efforts, no matter how wealthy we become, if we don't pay a full tithe. We will never be worthy of exaltation. It's the church, not me. It's Temple Recommend. Question number 10. See, that's what Bruce R. McConkie is talking about. And he's not doing any work himself. He's up there telling people they have to do the hard sweating labor to make the church rich, as he gets an allowance for being an apostle. You know, yeah, they have their retirement money, and so the allowance is extra and above maybe. So Irene, he lives in a wealthy neighborhood in Bountiful. Apparently he needs $100,000 a month, or paycheck, I guess it was, on the stub, so that he can live in his nice, comfortable home with just him, his wife, and his youngest daughter should finally be out of the house by now. That was 20 years ago when I met her. I'm sure she got over her frustration that no guy would want to marry her because of who her dad is. And if you understand that Zion is the people, not the church, not the kingdom, it is the people. So now put that into your equation here. But you are to labor for the people, to make others prosperous. And in return, they too are laboring to make you prosperous. Do you see how different that is from socialism and communism? Do you see how much peaceful and happy that kind of an economy is? That you don't have to be self-reliant on your own. Do everything all by yourself, with nobody to help you, abandoned by the church, telling you to pull yourselves up by your own bootstraps. That all you have to do is do what you enjoy doing. And the larger the population, the more freedom the people have. Because if you only have two people, I want to be an artist. I'm going to paint you a picture. Or I'm going to sing you a song. Society won't last. Somebody's going to have to do farming, somebody's going to have to make clothing, somebody's going to have to do other basic necessities, provide shelter, etc. And so the larger the population, the more diverse the goods for prosperity. And in such a system, you don't have to worry about forcing people to do hard labor. You can actually create a robotic automated system to mass produce so that human beings don't put their lives in danger. So that human beings don't live in misery, being told to turn that frown upside down, or bling on their vest. It was Office Space, right? Yeah, Office Space, the movie. Jennifer Aniston was working as a waitress at a fast food diner place, and her boss was trying to get her to wear bling, and so she said, okay, how much? Well, it's not about how much, it's about the feeling you have. Yeah, well, what's the number for the feeling? None of that. If you want to be an artist and paint other people pictures, that's what you do. And you get what you need and what you want to make that happen. Because you're contributing to making others prosperous. And beautification of their homes. And music. And all the arts. That's for beautification of society. And maybe it's because my mom never watched The Time Machine from 1960. He gets to the future and sees the Eloi and is wondering if they've finally figured out a self-sustaining system where they don't have to work, they can just play at the beach and drown to death. Until he then realizes, oh, the Morlock, they did all this. The Eloi are simply food. But that concept of creating a paradise has been an elusive one in recorded history. Nobody has ever seemed to figure it out. And my mom said, "This is the best we can come up with. There is nothing better." And ta-da! I did it, Mom. Oh, she's dead now, huh? So, yeah, it's that simple. And it's not a direct handoff to other people. You don't say, "Oh, I'm making this for that person," because that's an exchange, a monetary exchange of goods, a barter system. You can't have that. You have to think in terms of providing for a warehouse where people can get the items from. And so, if you want a specific art piece, you go look at the art that's available. I want that for my bedroom, or my living room, or kitchen. And so that way it eliminates the jealousy, the greed, and other human frailties that are natural as we realize we're getting screwed. And so, yeah, when you make clothes for the people. And I had the warehouse system all set up and designed too, depending on how big the society is. But yeah, that's the kind of economy that we should be hoping for whenever the Exodus trigger event occurs with the fall of the Great Mongol Church. We go to build Zion. But there are those who want to control and force people into servitude and slavery, want us to be slaves for them because they think that they are supposed to rule over us. They're the enemies of the people.